Race number 11 in the NASCAR iRacing.com World Championship Series takes us full circle and all the way back to the location that race number 1 was held at. Tonight, we hail from Daytona International Speedway for the NASCAR iRacing.com World Championship Series. My name is Daryl Morley. Alongside me is Nim Cross, and Nim, the defending champion of this racetrack, not this race, but this racetrack, is back and in the field tonight.
Yep, Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be starting with us. He'll be starting from the 12th spot. Top 24 cars are qualified within a tenth of a second. It should be a real close battle today.
A couple of the things that these drivers will be looking for. Obviously, Richard Towler will be looking for a much better run than he had last time we went racing. That was his first and so far only DNF of the season, but it hurt. It hurt him bad. He slid all the way down, not in the points. He's still leading the points, but only by 25 right now in the top standings of the points, but it slid him down the laps completed list, and that's a very important list to be on. Patrick Fogel now has the most completed laps. Nobody has completed them all. Towler slid from first all the way down to 6th. He had 100% completion. Now he's looking at 93.4. He's looking to raise that number here tonight.
Towler will be starting in the back, so he's in a little bit of a lottery. Anything can happen here at Daytona. And coming off the poor finish he had last week, and this week being a lottery, we could really have a big shake-up in the point standings after this race. Josh Berry, Brad Davies are right on his heels now.
And one of the things that Richard Towler needs to be careful of is our weird fact of the week, courtesy of Brian Blackford. The points leader, Richard Towler, has been involved in every plate track caution this season. Now, Richard said it wasn't his fault. He just finds himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. Hopefully, Richard has a little bit better luck here tonight at Daytona International Speedway. Drivers are being called to the grid. We're going to let you know who will start where. Starting on the pole, the number 20 machine here tonight, that is Josh Parker. Outside of row number 1, behind the wheel, the number 3, it's Brad Davies.
Starting in row number 2, we have Derek Wood, and outside row number 2, Jim Caudle Jr.
Josh Berry rolls inside of row number 3 and the number 2 machine, and outside of him, starting 6th in that number 9, is Thomas Lewandowski.
Starting 7th is Thomas Hazard, and in the 8th spot, Richard Towler.
Starting 9th, Daniel Pope II, who leads the field in DNFs thus far this season. Outside of him, we find the number 4 of Theo Olson.
Starting in 11th position is Jordan Erickson, and outside of Jordan Erickson, number 1 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Chris Main will start 13th in the number 30 machine. Outside of him in the 16 is Darren Stevens.
Ray Alfalo will start from the 15th spot. Aside of him is Patrick Fogel starting in 16th.
Jason Anderson finds himself starting in the 17th position in the 28 car, and outside in spot number 18, John Gorlinski in the 13 machine.
Starting 19th, we have Jordan Hightower, and in the 20th spot, John Prather.
Brian Schulenberg will start in the 21st position in the number 15 machine, and outside of him, starting 22nd, the number 19 machine of Florian Goddard.
Starting 23rd is the 14 machine of Connor McKenzie, and in the 24th position is the number 33 car of Derek Cash.
The 32 machine of Matt Sentel will pull inside of row 13, outside of the 13th row, starting 26th, the number 7 of Jesse Atchison.
As the cars go on the back stretch, starting in the 27th position is the number 5 car of Tyler Hudson. Jake Swanson will start in the 28th position in the number 31 car.
The 23 of Andrew Fayax III starts 29th, and starting 30th, the number 37 of Brian Blackford.
Going 31st will be the number 26 car of Robert Hall, and 32nd, the number 35 car of Jim Moore.
One of our international drivers, Sandeep Banerjee, will start 33rd in the 29 machine, and starting outside of him, Marcus Caton in the number 27.
Starting 35th will be Justin Tremblay in the number 12 car. 36th, the number 25 car of Vinny Sansone. And in the last spot, the 37th position, making it in, is the number 34 car of Mike Kelly.
That is your starting lineup. That's where these drivers will be starting the race here tonight. Where they finish, well, that's up to them. It's up to their competitors. It's up to potentially some pit strategy. And, of course, it's up to a lot of luck. Daytona International Speedway is known for beneficial moves and for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. If you need further proof of that, all you need to do is ask Richard Towler, who has been involved in every yellow thus far on a plate track. Now, in all fairness, only one yellow in the first plate race, but Richard Towler was involved in it. Here we go. Green flag flies. We are underway here at Daytona International Speedway. Josh Parker will lead him across the stripe. It's going to be side by side for quite some time here at Daytona.
Yeah, I remember back at Talladega, we saw a lot of three-wide racing. We got a spin in the back. Car number 36, Jordan Hightower,
experiencing some difficulty here at Daytona. He'll get back up onto the racetrack and continue on his way. However, he's going to lose a lot of time and a lot of positions here, and it looked like Hightower might have had some connection problems.
Yeah, definitely. It looked like he had a connection issue. Maybe found himself some contact on his end and spin it down the grass. But looks like we're staying green.
Still green flag conditions. Parker, your leader, leads the charge on the inside line. That yellow line, his best friend right now. Parker will try to keep those left side tires relatively close to get to the yellow line. Not exactly on the yellow line, especially not at this point in the race. And one of the interesting things about this racetrack that people have really started to notice with the laser scan technology here within the iRacing world is how bumpy this place is. This racetrack is a handful.
Oh, absolutely. You get on this track and you get in a draft with cars in front of you and right behind you, and the bumps are just, it'll just shake your car all over the place. And you really gotta, you gotta set up for those bumps in your car setup, and you gotta be careful not to be too aggressive. You can make the car go a little bit faster, but if you can't handle over the bumps, you're not going to be good. And these cars have to be stable as running as close as they are.
High side trying to gather up a little bit of momentum as they try to track their way towards the front of this field and perhaps make it a little bit of side-by-side action up at the front, where right now it's been Josh Parker from the early going, and he doesn't look like he would like to give up that spot. Right on his back bumper, a good guy to have there, Derek Wood, one of the best drafters in all of sim racing.
Derek Wood is all over the rear bumper of Josh Parker, and those guys have an advantage coming off of corner number 4 right now, but now Brad Davies gets hooked up with Jim Caudill Jr. up on the outside, and they're going to run down the lead cars as they come down through the trioval. They'll get up to about the 4th position.
Davies working that high side on the outside right now, side by side with Jim Caudill Jr. As Caudill, if he looked to his right, which I wouldn't recommend doing, but if he looked to his right, he would see that he is being passed up. They close in now on Josh Berry. They draw even with 3rd on the inside line. Berry down low, up high, we find the number 3 machine of Brad Davies. How often do we see those two drivers side by side?
Davies always up front, always a good charger. Brad Davies and Josh Berry are 2nd and 3rd in points right now. They're the guys that are chasing down Richard Towler for that points championship. Only 25-point margin for Davies to Towler, 75 points from Berry to Towler. So those guys running side by side in the 3rd and 4th spots right now, trying to gain some points over Towler.
Now, Richard Towler, the guy that's been involved in every yellow flag at a plate track thus far right now, showing in the 8th position. And I think right now, if you're Richard Towler, you just kind of settle in, look to avoid the incidents. The guys at the front of the pack, they're not that concerned. Maybe the guys at the far back of the pack, not that concerned. It's the guys around 12th, 13th, 14th position. They're the ones that are concerned because they are in the middle of the tornado, so to speak, and that's usually where the problems happen.
It's very tight up front right now. Derek Wood is all over the back of Parker, especially going down the back straightaway with that last time. We got some 3 wide back in the pack as looks like that's John Gorlinski making the 3 wide and going through the middle, and he does make the pass happen over the 17 car. But the front quarter right now, those cars are running very close. You look back in the pack, and they're kind of spread out just a little bit. But the front 20 cars, 15 to 20 cars are very tight, and those guys are, and Berry and Wood right now, all over the back of Parker going down the back straightaway.
So the action continues here, side by side, typical super speedway action here at Daytona International Speedway as these drivers work their way through turns 3 and 4. The action will spill out onto the front stretch as they head towards the famed tri-oval here at Daytona. And Daytona, by the way, one of the original tri-oval tracks, and this tri-oval adds so much more action, and several reasons for the tri-oval. One of the reasons, more action on a corner. They threw an extra corner in there.
Cars head off of the banking onto the back straightaway. If you're going to make any passes, this is where you want to get it done, on this long back straightaway. And since the drivers do try to make a lot of moves back here, we often see a lot of troubles. Now Gorlinski going in the middle again, trying to make it 3 wide. The 16 car doesn't want any of that. He tries to shut the door on Gorlinski and is able to make it happen. That is Darren Stevens in the 16 car. He didn't want Gorlinski going down in the middle. This track is very narrow. It's not as wide as Talladega. They were comfortable doing 3 wide at Talladega. A lot of guys don't like 3 wide here. Mistakes can happen. And you saw that Stevens wanted none of that the last time. But Gorlinski wants to make his way to the front. It's very difficult here to make passes. You're kind of boxed in, and you need to try to make those moves if you want to make it to the front right now. Gorlinski not showing any patience. He wants it. Now he's going to go to the outside and put Stevens on the middle 3 wide.
One of the things that oftentimes happens is when you find yourself 3 wide, whoever's on the inside, that's who gets the drafting help. Gorlinski, realizing that, drops back in line behind the number 16 of Darren Stevens. Right now, John Gorlinski just chomping at the bit to get out of Calamity Lane, and that's the middle of this pack.
Yeah, well, you got to be patient, though. We're working lap number 9 here. We still got a long way to go, 80 laps in this race, and now Gorlinski gets down into that outside lane, following. He's got Kyler McKenzie right on the outside of him, but not having a lot of patience so far. But he's trying to make things happen and get to the front, so you don't want to stay there in line.
Yeah, you can't afford to just sit there in line and wait. Obviously, if you're passing cars, you're not following cars. However, here at Daytona, we mentioned it's nowhere near as wide as Talladega. It's also a lot bumpier than Talladega. Talladega, a lot smoother, a lot wider racetrack. Daytona, very bumpy, very skinny. It doesn't look all that skinny when you're watching here with PSR TV and iRacing.com. However, it's a very skinny track. Not a lot of room to roam out there when you start getting 3 wide, especially when you start hitting these bumps and these cars jump all over the racetrack.
You know, Richard Towler is now making his move. He's up to the 7th position the last time by. 3rd car on that outside line there. He's got, we're working lap 10 right now. He's got Darren Hart Jr., 2 cars in back of him, running in about the 12th spot right now as they keep swapping positions back and forth. They're running so tight. They never hold on to their position very long. But last time by, I believe Jr. was in the 12th spot as we got Derek Wood all over Josh Parker trying to get that draft going down coming out of turn 4.
Derek Wood, such a strong drafter. He knows where to put that bumper to give the best possible push to Josh Parker. Literally inches away from the number 20 machine's back bumper as Josh Parker, and Derek Wood just giving one heck of a push. I wouldn't be surprised to see these 2 machines break away. I think whoever Derek Wood is pushing is going to have an advantage here tonight.
Barry and Davies still running side by side. Barry trying to get right on the back bumper Wood and help Parker try to break that line a little bit and make Davies fall back a little bit more. But he's got, I believe, let's see, who was that? That was Jim Caldwell Jr. right in back of Brad Davies. They're all doing a great job there on the outside line, so these cars aren't able to break away.
Pat Fogel in the Spy Optics Chevrolet had a little bit of difficulty that time by. The number 17 machine drops back from John Gorlinski. Possibly a little bit of contact between the 2 drivers. It's close quarters racing here at Daytona, and these drivers will set these things up as Gorlinski starts to blink in and out just a little bit. Some connection problems for the 13 of John Gorlinski. These drivers will set these cars up in a way that later on in the run, when the fuel starts to wear off and the car would normally start to handle a little bit odd and a little bit differently, they want the car to be most comfortable at that point. Reason for that, as opposed to why they didn't set it up that way 2 weeks ago at New Hampshire, they anticipated a lot of yellow flag laps at New Hampshire. The last time they raced at Daytona, 1 yellow flag. They're anticipating something very similar here tonight.
21 cars now in the lead packs that are side by side. The rest of the cars are hanging on to that draft, kind of single file behind those. But still, the top 21 cars going at it pretty hard on lap number 13.
And right now, if you're in the outside groove, you're just praying that everybody on the inside line does what they're supposed to do, minds their manners, and is able to keep their car locked down to the inside. Gorlinski still showing quite a bit of aggression on that high line on the number 13, trying to find a way around the 16 of Stevens. And Stevens having to run a little bit more of a defensive line than he might need to under other conditions, because Stevens knows that Gorlinski won't think twice about putting a nose to the inside of the 16 and making this thing 3 wide.
You know, when I'm racing this track, I kind of like to be on the outside line, but you're right. If anything happens, you've got nowhere to go. If you're on the inside line, you kind of have an escape to the left. You know, you got the apron down there, you got the whole left side of the track. It's hard to get down there, but you do have that escape. The problem with being on the inside, it's very, very bumpy on the inside of the track, a lot bumpier than the outside is, and then that outside line is kind of crowding you down there on that bump. So it's very difficult being on that inside line because there's no room for error, and you have to be very precise down there, and you got to watch out for those bumps. If you mess up just a little bit, you're running up in the outside line and you're causing an accident.
And not just that, but you kind of bind the car down just a little bit coming out of the corners here in the inside line, and you don't get that great run off the corners. The outside line obviously has to go the further distance, so you have to travel longer and further as Gorlinski makes it 3 wide with the help of the number 17 of Pat Fogel. Fogel looks to the extreme high side. Fogel way to the outside in the number 17 machine.
Yeah,
Fogel on the wall.
The last time Gorlinski made a 3 wide, he passed Fogel doing so. That time, coming out of the tri-oval, Fogel made a 3 wide and tried to pass Gorlinski on the outside. Wasn't able to get that spot back, and he's cost himself maybe a little bit of damage, and he's fallen back through the pack now on a number of positions. But that time, it was Fogel trying to make a 3 wide, trying to make that pass on Gorlinski.
Gorlinski again goes back to work on the number 16 of Darren Stevens. John Gorlinski has been trying to be the man on the move right now, but Stevens just kind of running that half inside, half outside line, just about the middle of the racetrack down the straightaway to prevent Gorlinski from being able to get by that number 16. What's happening, however, is neither Stevens nor Gorlinski can get the full benefit of the draft because they're both trying to kill the move from the other person. As a result, ain't nobody moving forward in that section.
Now Gorlinski again trying to make a 3 wide. He tried to go on the outside of Stevens. That didn't work, and now he's got some cars passing him. He's going to lose a couple of spots. I believe that's the 33 car gained a spot on him, and maybe Theo Olsen also gained a spot. So Gorlinski loses a couple spots.
It was Cash in the 33 and Ray Alfala in the number 6 that got by the 13 of Gorlinski. As Gorlinski, I believe right now, John Gorlinski and a lot of the drivers in this part of the field believe that they need to make a move and get out of the middle of Tornado Alley. The middle of these packs is the most dangerous place to be, because if something happens in front of you when you hit the brakes, chances are the drivers behind you are not going to hit the brakes. I'd rather be at the extreme front or the extreme back of these packs right now, especially early going in this race.
Yeah, it's hard being in the middle. You're at the mercy of everybody else, and there might be a little bit of skill involved with missing an accident, but that's only if you're lucky, because most of the time you don't have a chance, and your decisions are made for you. But hopefully everybody will run clean. But you know how it is. By the time we get to the end of these races, these guys start getting a little bit more hungry, and that's when we have a lot of weird things happen. But right now, Josh Parker leads it over Derek Wood, and everybody's doing good on lap number 18.
The outside line starts to charge back, and one of the concerns that these drivers might have is the fact that they are catching Jordan Hightower. Hightower had the problem earlier on at the start of this race, had some warp issues, spun down to the grass, kept it off the wall, didn't take anybody else out, and we stayed green. Hightower then got back on the racetrack and has been trying to catch up with this pack. However, at a drafting pack, when you are running by yourself, you are a sitting duck, and right now, Jordan Hightower, 42 seconds behind your race leader. That's not a good place to be, especially when the leader is cutting 46-second laps.
Yeah, this is a big issue for these guys as they come up on lap traffic here. They're already running too wide, and they already feel like they don't have a whole lot of room on the track. That slow car, you know, is they're going to have to lift when they get to them or try to go around them. It's just gonna be kind of like a jam car as these guys go through. And the guys up front don't want to lift. They got a pack of hungry wolves right behind them, and they don't want to slow down. And the car up front he doesn't have a whole lot of choice in what he's going to do either. So this is a big time, and this is a problem for these guys that could cause a big issue.
The other concern for these drivers is if you do lift and the driver behind you doesn't lift when you track down that lap traffic, and they will track down the Jordan Hightower machine. If you lift and the driver behind you doesn't lift and you're not dead straight with the steering wheel and they make contact, chances are you're going for a 5-ticket run.
Yep, all the drivers that you see right now are racing from their home computers at home. They're from all around the world. Sandeep Banerjee coming to us from India. Richard Hightower coming from England, and a lot of these other guys from the U.S. and around the world. So if you like what you see, you could be a part of this too. Just visit www.iracing.com. And right now we got a bunch of specials on. One of the specials we got going on right now is a 2-for-1 deal. You buy 1 month and you get 2 free. So for 3 months, you can get the price of pay for the price of 1 month. You can get 3 months here at iRacing. Check it out, see if you like it or not, and enjoy us in the fun of good hard racing at these spectacular tracks.
Sandeep Banerjee drops down to the apron to allow the leaders to work by, and that's a big relief for the lead lap drivers. We have 20 laps complete, about to complete the 21st lap. The leaders get to work their way by Sandeep a lot easier than they would have if Sandeep had not jumped down to the inside line. Jordan Hightower, next driver on the quote-unquote hit parade that could be a problem for these leaders.
Yeah, Sandeep Banerjee, like I said before, is our driver from India. He is a huge race fan. He loves his NASCAR. He loves motorsports in general, and he loves being a part of this series. And there's no doubt he's out there having a good time, even though he's a lap down right now. He really enjoys being part of this series and loves running here.
And you know what? The fact is, this is Daytona. Being a lap down does not eliminate you from contention. All it means is you've got to work a little bit harder than you thought you were going to have to work here tonight. The most important thing here at Daytona, avoid the wreck. Don't get yourself into the big one. And as our points leader, Richard Towler, can tell you, it's a lot easier said than done.
Josh Berry looking down to the inside a little bit. He doesn't have a run, and he's just taking a look down there, see if he has anything for Derek Wood and Josh Parker. Big time coming up here in about 20 laps or so. These guys are going to start making pit stops, and that's going to be where a lot of things are going to sort out. You can make a lot of mistakes coming on pit road. You know, a lot of times guys like to pit with another car, so when they come out, they have somebody to draft with. I was always under the opinion, and I'm not of the majority in this idea, but I like to pit by myself because I can get in there and I can hammer into the pits a lot harder and get in the pits quicker and get off a pit road quicker, and then join the cars as I come back out. A lot of these guys like to pit together, but it always seems to be that they get into each other or have some type of accident as they're coming on pit road. I just like to be by myself when I'm coming on pit road.
Well, normally that's not a bad idea, but here at a restrictor plate track, you need to have some friends with you. And ideally, you want some friends that are about equally talented on pit road as you are. And what I mean by that is drivers that have the same pace on and off from pit road and are on the same pit strategy as you are, whether it be 2 tires, 4 tires, full tank of gas, splash of fuel, whatever your strategy may happen to be. You want 2 or 3 drivers that are on a similar strategy, and that's where having a team works out very well at Daytona. You've got to have, or any plate track for that matter, you've got to have some partners out there. You're not going to win Daytona all by yourself.
Jim Caldwell Jr. seems to have had some connection issues, and he's dropped from the server. That's a big bonus for Richard Towler, our point leader. And as they go 3 wide, passing Hightower, Hightower does the best thing that goes to the outside, but Jim Caldwell Jr.'s connection loss is a big deal because that allows Hightower to gain. I'm sorry, not Hightower, but yeah, Richard Towler up into that, able to follow in right behind Davies.
3 wide continues as Jordan Hightower gives every inch of space that he can afford to give. He can't get too close to those walls. We have what's called sticky wall syndrome here at Daytona with these machines, and what that means is you get into the wall and you're pretty much stuck in the wall, and you're going to have an awfully hard time getting out. So the last thing that Hightower wants to do is brush the outside wall. He's giving every inch of racetrack that he can afford to give right now, and then some.
Everybody doing a good job getting around Hightower, and that was a pretty scary moment, but everybody doing a good job getting around. The working lap number 26 right now.
Well, Nim, here's a quick question for you, as it looks like we have settled in to a nice little groove here, still about 10 to 13 laps away, maybe even as many as 15 laps away from green flag pit stops, hopefully green flag pit stops. What do Sandeep Banerjee, Brian Blackford, Jim Moore, Richard Towler, Connor McKenzie, Robert Hall, Marcus Caton, Jordan Erickson, and Tyler Hudson all have in common?
I don't know. I had it before. When you read the top 5 off, I thought I had it, but the 10 more that came, I kind of got lost there a little bit.
Well, what they all have in common is that all of those drivers are coming off from a DNF at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. They need a strong run here, especially Richard Towler.
Yeah, there's no doubt Towler wants to have a good run here, and he's been doing a good job. He's made up a number of spots so far on the start of the race. He's kept it safe. He's second car up there on that outside line, as they are coming up on another lap traffic right now, a little bit of lap traffic. That lap traffic is moving to the high side. That seems to be where the pack likes that lap traffic to go. They're able to. That's Andrew Fayash, the third up there on the outside. Brad Davies looked he gets a good run and got a good draft on Fayash, as he is able to, might be able to drop down there in the second position, and he does. Brad Davies, that's pretty big. Davies able to take over that second spot over Derek Wood.
'23 machine to the extreme high side, making some room for these drivers, as right now it's Parker and Davies running first and second. Davies able to get down to the inside line and find just enough room between the number 20 of Josh Parker and the number 11 of Derek Wood to take over that number 2 position. And right now, if I could trade places with any driver on the racetrack, Brad Davies is who I'm swapping spots with. You couldn't get me to take Josh Parker's spot for anything in the world.
Yeah, Andrew Fayash, the third, got up there on the outside wall a little bit. He scraped the right side of the car off that car a little bit, but was able to keep going. No damage done, and everybody's still on their way. Everybody's okay.
You know, Brian Blackford does some awesome work in preparation for these events. Because Brian has done the work and done the research, we're able to tell you that the average cautions per race is 10. We average 10 cautions per race. However, last time they raced Daytona, 1 single solitary caution. These drivers in this series still looking for a pure green flag race. It could happen here tonight at Daytona, but I wouldn't bet on it. Chances tell us we will see at least 1 yellow flag.
Yeah, these guys are doing a really, really good job right now with patience, as Stevens is up all over the back of Towler right there in the corner. You don't want to touch in the corners. No bump drafting in the corners. It's not good in real life. It's not good here in our sim racing. As they go around the corners, if you touch mid-corner, that's going to send that car you're bumping out of control and cause a big accident. But right now, Stevens all over the back of Richard Towler. Richard Towler's got to be a little bit nervous about that. He just wants to run, and he doesn't want to have anything bad happen. But he is now the lead car up on that outside line, and that's going to give him the opportunity to go up there and battle for that lead position.
The other thing that Towler needs to be concerned about is he's been involved in every yellow flag thus far this season at a restrictor plate track, and none of them have been his doing, according to him, and I'm not here to dispute that, but he's concerned right now. He's got to be thinking to himself, my God, I've been involved in every yellow flag thus far this season, and if I don't get a little bit of a break from Theo Olsen, I might be the cause of the next one.
Yeah, he definitely worked, and that is Theo Olsen up there on the second on the outside line. Him and Darren Stevens' cars look very similar out there, but Theo Olsen, a very good driver, always up there in the top 5. We seem to mention him every week up there, but Theo doing a really good job drafting on Tyler right now as we're working lap number 32. Pit stops will be happening shortly.
Well, we do have pit stops happening right now, as a matter of fact, as Tyler Hudson pulls out of his pit area, as does the 6 machine of, correction, not the 6 machine. Ray Alfala not pitting. He's out there on the racetrack on the high side behind the 7 of Jesse Atchison. A couple of drivers that are on the move by virtue of being in the outside line and being patient. And it's so important to be patient here at Daytona. Dale Earnhardt Jr. third in line on the outside row of this race. And right now, Jr. sits in the 7th position.
I believe you'll see a lot of these drivers pitting right now, the guys that just pitted. The reason that they're pitting, I believe that they can make it to the end from here. So they're getting their pit stops out of the way early and trying to make it to the end, and from here they won't have to pit anymore. That is probably the reason for some early pit stops that these guys are doing.
Well, here's my concern, though. If you can make it 40 laps on fuel, if you can maybe squeeze it to 41, you can potentially do this thing in one stop. And if you're not planning on doing it in one stop, why wouldn't you stop at lap 30? Here comes a gaggle of cars, including Davies. Davies, the number 3 machine, dives down onto pit road as we are seeing green flag pit stops with the leaders for the first time. Davies coming down, Wood coming down. He also coming down the racetrack onto pit road is the number 9 machine. I do believe that is Lewandowski.
Yeah, number of drivers pitting up, and that gives Tyler a run going down the back straightaway. Tyler up on the outside by. He's got Olsen up on the outside with him. Dale Earnhardt Jr. slots in the 4th position. He's the 3rd car, now back to 5th position, but he's the 3rd car down on the inside line there. So Dale Jr. making his way up to the front.
Got to wonder, with these drivers coming down with 33 laps complete starting lap number 34, are they consigning to telling us, look, we can't make it on one stop. We have to make 2 pit stops here tonight. There's just no way we can make it on one stop. Ray Alfala, the number 6 machine, coming down pit road, as is Brian Blackford in the 37. The 16 of Stevens coming down pit road as well.
Josh Parker makes his way out of corner number 4. Not pitting this time by him. I believe that is, let's see who's right behind him. Josh Berry, Richard Tyler, Dale Earnhardt Jr. all right there. Theo Olsen on the outside of him. Thomas Hazard right there. We've got a pack of about 14 cars now in that lead draft. These guys trying to stretch their fuel mileage, make their pit stop later. Other guys making their pit stop early and trying to gain some strategy that way. But when they get off sequence, you know, one thing you want to do is maybe try to get off sequence a little bit if you're back in the pack. Try to do something to get towards the front of the pack. These other guys, they want to stay out and make consistent laps in the draft and try to pull away from those guys that are trying to break up the strategy here a little bit.
A few more drivers peel off and make their way down pit road, and what this does is it sort of disintegrates that inside line. Nobody from the outside line is able to get down onto pit road. Reason for that? Well, duh, come on now, it's simple physics, my friend. You're on the outside line, pit road's on the inside line, and there's cars between you and pit road. So unless you're going to find a way to jump over those cars or convince those cars to somehow let you squeeze right through there, you're going to have to wait for an opening on the inside line, and we've seen several drivers work their way down to the inside line. The outside line begins to basically dismantle itself and join up with the inside line. One of the drivers moved down to the inside line, the number 1 machine, the Amp Energy National Guard Chevrolet of Dale Earnhardt Jr., also down to the inside line. Thomas Hazard in the number 8 machine, the number 24 of Daniel Pope II, down to the inside line, is now this time by the stripe. Earnhardt jumps to the high side, and it looks like Earnhardt's going to commit to staying out at least one more lap.
Yeah, he was able to get a car length in front of Tyler. He moved right up in front of Tyler. Tyler had no choice but to push him down out of the tri-oval and 2-turn 1, and that puts Junior up in the spot where he can possibly work that outside line and get up there beside Josh Parker.
Into turns 3 and 4, they work. Parker continues to lead this one. Berry sits now in second spot. Third is Thomas Hazard. Fourth, dropping back just a little bit, is Dale Earnhardt Jr. as they are stuck to the high side, and it looks like no takers up in the top 10 here for a run down pit road. So several of these drivers, it looks like they're going to commit to making it to at least lap number 40, and what that tells me, one stop. If they make it past lap number 40, it tells me one stop, and that's all they're going to need, and it makes you wonder about the drivers that stopped 5, 6, even 10 laps ago. Twelfth position right now, we find the number 19 machine of Florian Goddard. He'll make his run down pit road. So Florian, the number 19, down onto pit road. And Florian, I should say, has just debuted an iRacing TV show. It's iRacing TV, and he does a great job with it. And I've been fortunate enough to offer up some voice work and contribute to iRacing TV. And it's just debuted recently, and we know the video quality that Florian puts out with all of his different projects he's got out there. And Florian Goddard now debuting iRacing TV, and all the music used on there is composed and performed by Florian Goddard. It's a great job, does our buddy Florian, as he gets back out onto the racetrack and back underway here at Daytona International Speedway. And it looks like we've got some leaders committing to a run down pit road. Towler coming down. The number 7 coming down of Atchison, the 4 of Theo Olson, and the 14 of Connor McKenzie.
Yep, you can find an iRacing TV show if you go to iRacing.com, and under the multimedia tab, you can just select videos, and right there you'll find the iRacing TV program right under the multimedia tab, and then videos.
I believe you can also find it at iReviews.net. The website that Florian maintains and contributes all of his work to, the majority of his work to, we should say, with recaps and video coverage of a lot of the official and non-official races here at iRacing.com. Leaders make their run down pit road, and that will, for the first time here tonight, hand the lead over to a driver that is not Josh Parker. Thomas Hazard picks up the spot as Parker and company head down pit road.
Big race on the pit road, though, as Josh Berry was able to get right next to Parker as they went in, and actually Josh Berry outbroke Parker just a little bit entering the pits, and maybe Parker had a little bit of problem in his stall there, but Berry is able to get his pit work done, and he's out. He's going to pick up that spot, along with Gorlinski's going to pick up that spot. So Parker's going to lose a couple of spots on pit road, and he's not going to have that lead in the draft anymore, so he's going to have to work his way back up through.
Top 3 left to pit. Here they come. Hazard leads the charge. Erickson in the 21 and the 1 machine of Dale Earnhardt Jr. all making their way down pit road here at Daytona International Speedway. Erickson on the inside of Jr. We'll see if either one of them are able to make a clean entry into their pit stall. Jr. slows it way down to allow Jordan Erickson by him. They will pull into their pit stalls, and it looks like some fuel, maybe some tires for these drivers, although we've been told tires not that big of a factor here at Daytona. Extended pit stop for Dale Earnhardt Jr., a little bit longer in his pit stall than he might have liked.
Yeah, the 8 car, he had to, Thomas Hazard, he had to back up in this pit stall. He got in a little bit too hot and had to back it back up, so he's going to lose some spots. Junior lose a couple spots, and Jordan Erickson probably taking no tires and a lighter fuel load and able to get out in front of all those drivers. This is the big time right here. This is where you're going to win or lose this race in these pit stops. And we'll see who sorts out up front here after all these pit stops. But Brad Davies working his way right in front of Derek Wood. That might be your battle for the lead right now.
You know, I've seen enough super speedway races here in the sim racing world in my time to know that what's important...
Oh, we had trouble.
Problems on the racetrack.
Yeah, they got sideways. They were able to gather it back up. What happened was they were coming up on the lap car, and I believe it was Sandeep Banerjee. He was coming up, and Sandeep, right in the middle of the track, these guys like Davies and Wood had nowhere to go. Sandeep got in their way, and that caused Davies and Wood to have to take evasive action, and they almost lost it.
And it looked like Sandeep might have been typing in a message to these drivers, because immediately after that, we saw the message come up from Sandeep, staying high. A little bit too late for the drivers that had some issues. However, everybody continues on. We stay green. What I was saying is, in my experience, green flag pit stops, the most important part of racing here at Daytona. If you wind up with green flag pit stops, if you can master the art of making a green flag pit stop, you will find yourself in contention to win every single time you go racing at Daytona.
Looks like the first pack out here is being led by John Gorlinski and Thomas Lewandowski. They got Richard Towler and Theo Olsen, who are chasing them down in the second pack here. The second pack is soon going to be part of the first pack, and now it is. That second pack is now part of the first pack, and about 15 cars. Mike Kelly, now the number 4 car, fourth position. He's pitting, and he's clear. He's headed to pit road, but we got about looks like about 15 cars now in this lead draft, and they're being led by John Gorlinski. And Gorlinski was running in about the 10th position when all of these pit stops started to take place. So Gorlinski and Lewandowski right now, the big winners as around the pit stops happen.
Well, one of the things that Gorlinski had going for him, number one, very quick on to pit road, very quick off from pit road, and John Gorlinski pitted in a large group of drivers, pitted with a huge group of drivers, and it worked out well enough for him that when he came back out onto the racetrack, his group of drivers joined up with yet another group of drivers. So they've been running in a nice, tight, large drafting pack for quite some time, and that's given him quite an advantage. As a matter of fact, over 3 seconds over the group that just pitted recently.
Our leader before the pit stops happened, Josh Parker, is now running in the 16th position. He's 3.6 seconds down, and he's down there with Tyler Hudson too, who was running in that lead draft. So very bad pit stops for Parker and Hudson, as they find themselves 3.5 seconds behind the lead draft, and they are in a group of about 5 or 6 cars. But that group probably not going to be as fast as the lead group, as we see Gorlinski blinking a little bit. He always has a little bit of connection issue from wherever he's racing from.
Coming up on the number 22 of John Prather, we'll see if they can work their way around him nice and clean. And it's very disconcerting for the drivers behind the number 13 of Gorlinski when his car disappears. What it does is obviously the car vanishes. Sandeep Banerjee way down on the inside. We've got the 22 of Prather on the outside. We were 4 wide momentarily. What it does to these drivers is it really kind of changes their mindset. They want to drop back from the number 13 of John Gorlinski. They know he's not going to lift. He's leading at Daytona. It's the NASCAR-iRacing.com World Championship Series. He's not going to back off. He's not going to get out of the way. He's going to be wherever he is when his machine blinks back in. And you just hope and pray, if you're Thomas Lewandowski, that his machine is not part of your hood.
Yeah, it looked like as they were lapping Prather there, he wanted to be on the inside, but Gorlinski kind of forced him to the outside, made him get up there on that outside draft. So all these guys making their way by Prather now as they go down the corner number 1.
Gorlinski about to have some company up at the very peak of this field as Derek Wood gets a good push from Brad Davies in the number 3 machine. Wood and Davies pitted together, and they've been working together quite well here in the early going, as we're going to come down here, and very, very soon we're going to start counting backwards to the end of this race. As this time by, we will complete lap number 49 and start the 50th lap. 31 to go this time by the stripe for the drivers, the NASCAR-iRacing.com World Championship Series.
And remember, this is a NASCAR-sanctioned event, as we keep saying here. This is a NASCAR-sanctioned event. We do have NASCAR-sanctioned late model series, truck series, nationwide type series, and obviously the Cup type series here, the Sprint Cup type series. And these guys, if you want to get involved, just go to iRacing.com and you can get yourself involved in the only online NASCAR sanctioned series there is. Laps to go this time by. John Gorlinski still your leader over Thomas Lewandowski, Derek Wood, Brad Davies, and Josh Berry. For the points championship, Richard Towler, your point leader, right now in the 9th position. Josh Berry up to, looks like he's going to gain a number of spots. We'll try to find Brad Davies. Davies up there in the 4th spot. So Davies right now has, looks like 5 positions. That's the 25-point advantage, and that is the gap between 1st and 2nd in the points championship right now. So pretty much right now, at this very moment, we are tied for the points championship. Dale Earnhardt Jr. running back in the 18th position right now. He's back in that 2nd group of cars that consists of Tyler Hudson, Josh Parker, Jr., Swanson, and Hall, and a couple of other guys. But that pack, 3.7 seconds behind the leader right now, and they're losing just a little bit every lap, so they're not able to gain on this lead pack. Those guys are going to need a caution flag to get caught back up.
And I don't know if the caution flag is going to come out, and hopefully it doesn't, as these drivers have just been putting on a fantastic show thus far here tonight, as we have 53 laps complete. Nary a problem on the racetrack, and you got to give it to these drivers. This is a very difficult track and an extremely difficult car to drive.
Yeah, it is. As we said before, very bumpy, not easy to do it all. These guys are all are the best that we have to offer here. It's in iRacing.com. Best drivers, oval track drivers in sim racing, and even some of the best road course drivers are out here tonight. Richard Towler and a number of other guys, very, very good road racers as well. And you can see the road races, DWC Road Racing Championship, also every other Saturday. The Saturday precedes the NASCAR World Drivers Championship event on Saturdays.
And, you know, speaking of road racing, we've just had some new content released here within the iRacing world that a lot of the road racers are tickled pink about.
Yeah, the Mustang FR5005, the 5005, and Mid-Ohio are now available. A lot of iRacing membership having a ball with a Mustang over the last week or so, and the new track Mid-Ohio. You see a lot of hosted races there with that track and car combo this week. But everybody enjoying the Mustang. Very fun car to drive, and if you would like to drive the Mustang, do some road racing with us or oval racing, just visit iRacing.com, and you'll be able to see the buy one get two free deal that we have going on right now. Buy 1 month, get 2 months free.
Side by side at the front of the field, the outside line has gained the momentum that they needed. Derek Wood getting a good run on the high side. Just as that happens, Brad Davies takes a peek to the inside of Derek Wood, another peek to the outside, drops back in line, and a good push down the backstretch. Wood could have the opportunity to pull down. You stay to the outside along with the number 3 machine of Davies. Smart move by Wood. Now's not the time to bail on one of your best drafting help.
Yeah, he's doing a great job there on the outside line. That inside line, trying to draft each other right down there real quick, too. But possible yellow coming out.
I'm seeing no decrease in speed with the leader, still well over 190 miles an hour. We stay green flag racing. Gorlinski showing as your race leader. Wood was in second last time by. The outside line losing a little bit of ground as here comes the number 9 machine of Lewandowski on the inside line. Look at that, nice draft. Lewandowski giving one heck of a push to the 13 of Gorlinski.
Yeah, big run down in corner number 3. We had a couple of drivers over the radio last time by yelling for a yellow or something like that. Not sure what happened there, but possibly Tyler Hudson involved. We heard some chatter over his radio, but we'll try to figure out what happened and we'll let you know. Hey, some exciting news this week, iRacing.com. We have scanned the Dover International Speedway this week, and that's very exciting news. And also, every Sprint Cup track is now signed and under agreement, and we're all very excited about that. And big news for us today, or this week, here at iRacing. And big excited about all the NASCAR tracks and the NASCAR Sanction Series.
That'll give you the opportunity to run the full schedule should you choose to, and especially where now you've got the opportunity to host your own races and mixed class racing. You can really have a lot of fun doing different things with different layouts of the tracks and running different chassis out there. You can have a blast here within the iRacing world, and it's a lot of fun for all the people out there involved in sim racing. And those that aren't involved in sim racing, we've documented on some of our other programs how inexpensive it actually is to get involved in the sim racing world and sim racing as a whole, not just specifically here within iRacing. It certainly applies here, but as a whole, sim racing is a fantastic hobby. You're going to meet some wonderful human beings here in the sim racing world, and you're going to have a whole lot of fun while you're doing it. You're going to meet some people out there that might surprise you because their main goal isn't necessarily to beat you. Their main goal is to help you get faster because it's more important to them to help you get faster. The reason being, the faster you are, the better it feels to beat you.
Right now we have 15 cars in the lead draft. 1 second separates first from 15th. Florian Goddard in the 15th position. John Gorlinski leading Thomas Lewandowski, Derek Wood, Brad Davies, and Josh Berry up in the top 5 positions. So right now Derek Wood making a big run down the back straightaway as he has Brad Davies pushing him, and actually Wood does have the lead right now going in the corner number 3, but we'll see if he can hold it through 3 and 4. But that's as big as run as we see in the outside lane get, but not able to hold it up there. But now they're going to get a run coming down to the tri-oval.
We'll see if they can build up that run on the run through the tri-oval. It's Gorlinski with the advantage. Wood will be credited with the lead. No, it's Gorlinski. Gorlinski now recredited with the lead again. It's that connection problem that John Gorlinski's been having. It's starting to kind of mess with our scoring just a little bit. Wood showed as the leader momentarily on our screens, and then Gorlinski blinked back in and then went, oh, never mind, Gorlinski is the leader. And you know, and I'm not going to mention other software titles, but in other software titles, that would actually have put Gorlinski a lap down. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, right now, the biggest problem with Gorlinski's connection right now is Thomas Lewandowski. Gorlinski blinking, that means Lewandowski doesn't want to get that close to him, because if he blinks and there's that millisecond of problem there, that could cause big problems with Lewandowski and cause a big crash up front. So Gorlinski actually he probably needs to figure out what's going on there, as we see it week after week. Probably needs to get that sorted out and get it fixed.
Time to call the ISP and get that all straightened out for him. And interesting here, 20 laps remaining here in this race. 20 to go. Next time by, we'll have 19 laps remaining. Will we see anybody make a run down pit road? Those drivers that pitted awfully early, I don't know if they're going to have enough fuel to go the distance. And some of those drivers are in this lead pack.
Yep, 20 laps to go last time by, 19 to go this time by. Gorlinski with a .011 second lead over Lewandowski, or that just switched up on us again. Lewandowski now in second. Wood credit with third that last time by, but working lap number 62 of 80 right now.
John Gorlinski having difficulties, and I'm not quite sure exactly what the problem might be for Gorlinski. His ping is around 108. Now it settles down to 83. His quality is right in the good range, 99 to 100, lap after lap after lap for Gorlinski. Ping starting to settle out for Gorlinski just a little bit. Jim Caudill Jr. in a little bit of ping trouble as well. Those of you going, what the heck is a ping? What the heck is quality? Quality is the amount of information lost between your computer and the server computer and everybody else's computers. And then your ping is the amount of time it takes for that information to transfer back and forth. And I believe it's measured in milliseconds, isn't it?
Yeah, milliseconds, and it's amazing. Just a couple milliseconds it takes a signal to go from one side of the planet to the other, and that allows us to have this great, spectacular racing that you do see right now. And every once in a while, when you see a car blink, that's a hiccup here somewhere, maybe on the driver's computer, or maybe somewhere a hop in between. Who knows? It's just something that everybody's got to be careful of, and you just do the best to make sure your computer is as clean as possible, and you go racing. And pretty much, as you can see here, all these connections look pretty darn solid, and it's pretty amazing that these guys are racing each other from all around the world. And we have a great time here at iRacing with the quality servers and connections that we have.
And we've made huge leaps and bounds. Those have been around for quite some time. Remember the lag-filled races and the warp-filled races that we used to have with older technology. And we've seen the advancements both in the software side with the netcode and also on the hardware side as far as the World Wide Web. And let's not forget, the World Wide Web is not a perfect universe. There are issues that come around within the World Wide Web. After all, during the World Cup, the USA goal crashed Twitter. Crashed the entire Twitter website momentarily when the USA scored the goal. It's still not a perfect science with the World Wide Web, but it's getting better every single day with the arrival of fiber optics, cable internet, DSL, all these things getting better, and it's making sim racing better for everybody involved.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is currently running in the 16th position. He is leading the second pack right now. They were, just a few laps ago, 4 seconds behind the leaders. Jr. and Josh Parker and Tyler Hudson have it knocked down to about 2.9 seconds behind the lead draft right now. So the combination of Jr., Parker, Hudson, Hall, Swanson, all those guys are running down. You can see them back there. They're running down the first pack now, and they're trying to make their way up there. They got about 15 laps to do it. Lap number 66 this time by. So 15 laps to do it, and they need to get up there to that lead pack.
And I don't know that they're going to catch up to them, as 46 eighths for Junior's pack, and the lead pack 47 zeros, 47 flats. That's 0.2 of a second. I don't believe they're going to have time without a yellow flag. The other thing that they can do is they can get in a nice long line, nice straight line, and get nose to tail. They may be able to track this lead pack down where this lead pack is side by side. They're encountering lap traffic from time to time. There's a lot of different factors that could slow this lead pack down. Don't be surprised to see this second group catch up to them. There's a lot of good drivers in that second group. Not just the guy in the one machine, Earnhardt Jr. either. Josh Parker's a fantastic shoe. Tyler Hudson knows how to wheel a simulated race car. Daniel Pope II, even though he leads the DNFs thus far this season within the NASCAR-iRacing.com World Championship Series, he is one heck of a driver. You've got to be one of the cream of the crop just to be here.
Derek Wood making a push on Davies pushing Wood down the back straightaway right now. Another challenge for lead as Gorlinski on the inside. Wood has position right now. He's got a little bit of a fender out in front, but going around the bottom's a shorter way around, and Gorlinski has that way. But now Wood going to have the momentum coming off the banking down to the tri-oval, and it looked like Wood may have a fender out in front of him this time. We'll see who has the lead at the line.
It's Gorlinski with the advantage at the line, but only by, get this, 25 thousandths of a second. 25 thousandths of a second between first John Gorlinski and second Derek Wood.
Working lap number 68, this time 13 to go. The last time by 12 to go. As we come to the lead this time by, people are going to want to start taking, getting advantage, making their shot at the win now. So things might just start getting a little crazy as the backpack right now 2.5 seconds behind the leader, So they are about 1.6 seconds behind the last car in that draft, Florian Goddard. So they'll probably start feeling the draft of that lead pack up here, maybe in about a half a more second. If they get another half second, they'll start to get a draft on that front pack.
Still 47 flats for the lead group of with John Gorlinski leading the charge. Earnhardt Jr.'s group, a 46.89.
Oh, trouble up front.
I don't know if they're catching him quick enough.
There's the big one, Derek Wood. Davies got in the woods, and Wood starts spinning around, and a bunch of cars involved.
The 6 machine involved, as several machines involved in this one, and the big question, did Richard Towler escape it? I believe Towler did. For the first time here on a restrictor plate track, there's been a yellow flag that did not involve Richard Towler. Drop the balloons and the streamers from the ceiling. It's party time in England for all the Towler fans. He finally escaped one.
It looks like coming around 3 and 4, it looks like there's possibly a little bit of a it was an issue with Gorlinski's connection. He got up into Derek Wood, that spun him around, and that caused this incident.
And that's one of the bad points of super speedway racing, when you've got somebody out there with a less than perfect connection. And Gorlinski's connection has been terrible thus far tonight. And can you blame him for staying out there? Absolutely not. Let's not forget, top prize in this series. That's a lot of money, Nim.
Yeah, $10,000 goes to the winner of this series. Gorlinski, you know, he blinks in and out here and there, and yeah, he needs to take a look at it. And who knows, you know, he's given everything he can to get this issue fixed, and it's just something he's working on. And you know, so we don't want to beat him up too bad, but certainly, you know, he's out there doing the best he can, and his connection. You know, although you see him blinking in and out here and there, that was at that very moment. You know, it went really bad, and probably, you know, nobody feels more bad about it than he does. So we'll see what's going to happen now as a number of these guys try to get sorted out through the yellow flag here. See if they're going to pit. We got 10 laps to go this time by.
10 laps remaining here. Obviously, Gorlinski not going to pit. Lewandowski not going to pit. The majority of that second group did make it through, including Dale Earnhardt Jr. He moves up into the 10th position. Josh Parker looks like he may have made it through relatively unscathed, as well as Tyler Hudson in the number 5 machine. No damage showing on the 5 machine. Robert Hall looks like he made it through, as did the Spy Optics machine behind them, the number 31 machine. Jake Swanson looks like he made it through. So a lot of drivers that could have been negatively involved made it through this thing, as now the drivers that were involved, they're making their way down to pit road. Whatever repairs can be exacted, it's time to get them fixed, get 4 fresh tires on them, might as well, and get yourself back up to the front. It's going to be helter-skelter coming up when we go back to green flag. Your top 10 right now as they parade around under the first yellow flag of the evening. John Gorlinski is your leader. Thomas Lewandowski sits in second. Josh Berry is third. Fourth belongs to Theo Olson in that slightly damaged number 4 machine. Fifth is Jordan Erickson, followed by Richard Towler, who squeezed his way through that incident. Brian Schuenberg sits in the 7th position. 8th is Connor McKenzie. 9th, Florian Goddard. And rounding out your top 10, the number 1 machine of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Richard Towler running in that 6th spot. He's going to be able to keep the damage down on people trying to gain points from him. A couple guys might gain a couple. Right now, Thomas Lewandowski, who is currently fourth in points, 97 points behind the leader, currently running in second. Josh Berry, 75 points behind the leader, and third in overall points, is currently running in the third spot, so he's also going to gain a couple of points. Brad Davies was involved in that last incident, and he's in big trouble now in the point standings. He's gonna drop a lot of points, and right now Davies running in the 17th spot. He's going to have to make some spots up here. And this restart, maybe the last restart. We'll see how many laps we get in, but it's going to be pretty crazy. These guys now are going for the win. A lot of these guys that were involved in that last caution flag, they're going to want to make up these spots. They had a great run going, and they don't want to be ruined. And maybe they can take a last shot to get up there and get that finishing position. You know, that's going to give them a good finish of the race. So they're going to be making some crazy moves. So my money is on another caution after this one.
I would tend to agree with you on that one. 11th position, by the way, is Josh Parker, the early race dominator. Tyler Hudson sits in 12th. 13th is Robert Hall. 14th belongs to Jake Swanson, the number 31 machine. Nice run thus far for Jake. Vinny Sansone sits in the 15th position. Derek Wood, after the problems, sits in 16th. 17th is Brad Davies. 18th, Patrick Vogel. 19th belongs to Matt Santel. 20th is Daniel Pope II. 21st is Thomas Hazard, followed by Derek Cash in the 22nd position. 23rd is Jesse Atchison. 24th, Brian Blackford. 25th, Jim Moore. 26th is Chris Main. 27th is Justin Trombley, followed by Ray Alfala in the 28th spot. And 29th, final driver on the lead lap, is Jason Anderson. Mike Kelly is one lap down in the 30th position. Darren Stevens also a lap down in 31st. John Prather one down in the 32nd position. Jordan Hightower and Andrew Fiash III also one lap down in 33rd and 34th positions, respectively. Sandeep Banerjee sits 4 laps down in 35th. Jim Caudill Jr. 36th, and 37th is Marcus Caton. That's your entire field rundown here at Daytona International Speedway, and it looks like we're going to go green flag racing next time by. Hopefully, yes, the lights do go out. We are going to have 7 laps between the drop of the green flag and the drop of the checkered flag. The only question is, how many of those laps will be run at full throttle?
Yeah, one thing restrictor plate racing does bring us sometimes is a couple of drivers that run towards the top that you don't usually see up there. And everybody in this series is a great driver. You got to be a great driver just to make it to this series. But Robert Hall up there in the 13th spot, we usually don't see him up there that far. A number of other drivers are doing a good job. Florian's up there. Vinny Sansone having a good run. And we'll see as this last restart happens. Any more cautions? Able to get some more of these guys up there and get a good finish in tonight.
And Daniel Pope II, who leads the field in DNFs thus far this season, right now still in this race, still running strong. He's hoping to get out of the lead in the DNF category. Of all the categories to lead, I think that might be the one you would want to lead least. The concern for some of these drivers is we've got some damaged machines up here in the front. Theo Olsen, sporting some damage, has not pitted. He was involved in that incident, said, I'm not going that far back in the pack. I'm going to try to hang on and get what I can.
Yeah, right now, track position is everything. And Theo does have a little bit of damage on there, but not too serious. He should be able to continue from here. But definitely, track position is what you want right now. Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be starting from the 10th position, the 5th car on the outside line. So we'll see if he can make one of his patented restrictor plate moves here in the late going and improve his spots here as pace car getting ready to pull off, and John Gorlinski is going to lead him to the green.
73 laps now complete as they get the green flag. We have 7 laps remaining. Gorlinski, nice restart for the number 13 machine. He's going to have Josh Berry all over the back bumper, and I think right now Josh Berry is in a spot that I don't know that I'd want to be in. Right behind that warping number 13 as now Berry tries to get to the high side. Berry might be smart to go to the outside and try to get around John Gorlinski in the number 13, if only because of that connection problem.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. goes around Josh Parker on that last restart. He's up into about the 7th or 8th position right now. He's now is that Theo Olsen up into the wall. He's going to pick up another spot, and Theo gets it gathered back in. So, but that did cause Junior to lose a little bit of momentum.
A couple drivers scraping the outside retaining wall here at Daytona as we click off another lap. 6 laps remaining here in this one. Is your leader in points, Richard Towler, down on the inside line, starting to realize that he's pretty much stuck, nowhere to go on the inside line. He may want to jump up to the outside line, where right now Thomas Lewandowski leads the charge. Connor McKenzie nestled in right behind Lewandowski, and right on the back bumper of McKenzie, the number 1 machine of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Josh Parker is getting a big push right now from, I believe that's Tyler Hudson.
Almost a 3 wide as they head towards the tri-oval here. The number 8 machine thought about going through the middle. That's Thomas Hazard. Thinks better of it. Now 3 wide. Connor McKenzie stuck to the outside as several drivers start to scramble for positions. Junior down to the inside. McKenzie will lose at least 1 spot. Josh Parker up to the outside, the number 20 machine. Parker and Junior change spots as Junior wants to lead the charge on the outside.
Yeah, Parker being very aggressive. He forced McKenzie up there, and he got up in the outside lane, but that cost him a spot as Junior was able to get underneath him, and now Junior's up to the 6th position.
On the inside, Richard Towler is the number 1 machine of Dale Earnhardt Jr. If he clears Towler, don't be surprised to see Junior jump to the outside. Right now, Earnhardt trying to find room to the inside of the number 21 machine of Jordan Erickson. Cost him a little bit of time with Towler having a great push from Josh Parker. Parker all over the back bumper of Richard Towler's number 10 machine. Towler loving the track.
Yeah, McKenzie makes a move on Lewandowski as we have Gorlinski blinking in and out again. Everybody's able to deal with that, and it works okay, but that costs Gorlinski some momentum, and that gets Josh Berry, I believe it is, on the outside of Richard Towler right now, pushing Josh Berry on the outside. Parker moves up the track in front of Junior. Junior 3 wide with McKenzie up on the outside of him, and Derek Wood's in trouble.
Derek Wood in trouble in the number 11 machine, and now
we got
Junior
more
in the
trouble.
Outside wall. Junior gets into McKenzie. Junior spins around on the front stretch. Spinning number 1 machine, 33 machine, clips him. Around we go as we're going to put several good machines into the spin cycle here. In this one, Gorlinski leads him across the yellow flag as this might be the checkers. John Gorlinski will likely take home the win, and it looked like Wood just clipped the apron coming through 3 and 4. That's what triggered this whole deal.
Yep, Josh Berry got forced down on the grass through the tri-oval. He came back up across the track, and he took out Richard Towler as they were going through the tri-oval. So Towler with heavy damage. We'll have to see when the caution came out and how this field's going to be sorted out after all these incidents.
Connor McKenzie getting a black flag, perhaps, for not exiting the pits safely as he was spinning down through the grass. Gorlinski looks like he's going to hang on for the win. Richard Towler will take home 2nd spot more than likely, and that's one heck of a bounce back for Richard Towler coming off his first DNF of the season. Towler will not only complete every lap, he will come home with a runner-up.
Yeah, that's big for him in the championship series. That nobody but Gorlinski will be able to make up any ground on him. And John Gorlinski was 6th in points, and he's only going to get about 10 points. So a big point day for Richard Towler.
Huge points day for Richard Towler. Gorlinski will wind up likely with the win. Again, only 2 more laps around this racetrack. Pace lights are not out. We will not likely be returning to green flag conditions. I suppose if they went out this time by, no, even then we would not be returning to green flag conditions. So we are done here with this one, and Gorlinski will be your at least unofficial race winner. And let's not forget, when you see it here on the broadcast, it is unofficial. It's unofficial until it is deemed official by both iRacing.com officials and NASCAR officials, as several people from NASCAR are part of the iRacing NASCAR-iRacing.com World Championship Series committee, and they review all these races before they become official.
Yeah, just like in NASCAR's real world, the officials don't get published or become official until the next day. So we'll see what happens. Right now, it looks like Josh Berry scored in the second spot. Richard Thaler will fall back to third. So Berry will pick up about 5 points over Richard Thaler. The other points, Davies picks up a 9th spot, which actually is very good considering from where he was. Dale Earnhardt Jr. involved too bad in that last accident, as he got into it with Thomas Hazard. Actually, both of those guys are very good friends. Jr. back to the 27th position.
So one more trip around the racetrack after they cross the start-finish line, as the yellow and the white flags will be displayed to these drivers, and it looks like it's going to be Gorlinski in the number 13 machine taking home the win. All he's got to do is just finish this race, and John Gorlinski should be able to take home the win. And an impressive run for John Gorlinski. He started 18th here tonight, Nim.
Yeah, he did. He did a great job on the round of pit stops. He went in the pit stop somewhere around 10th to 12th position, and after everybody went through their pit cycle, Gorlinski came out in the lead, and that was the move of the race, and that's where he got it done. So John Gorlinski and his pit crew and his pit strategy is what won this race for him.
Gorlinski getting the congratulations from the drivers here, and he said, not the way I wanted to take it, but thanks. He apologized for his internet, as he has taken complete blame for the first incident that took a lot of good cars out, and obviously none of these drivers want to be involved in an incident, and especially be the trigger of an incident that takes out a good number of drivers. And unfortunately, John Gorlinski is going to have this win slightly tainted. I guess you would call it slightly tainted for John Gorlinski, and it's a shame too, because he drove his heart out there on the number 13 machine. And outside of that bad internet, I don't know that anybody could have beaten John Gorlinski here tonight. Internet being perfect for Gorlinski, I don't know that anybody would have beaten that Virginia Tech Chevrolet here tonight.
No, if anything, the connection issue allowed drivers to get up next to him and race him even harder than they would have been without that connection. So I personally don't see it as tainted. I'm not seeing him take a lot of guff here from the other drivers. Everybody knows this happens from time to time, and I think John will get it worked on and probably have some officials talk to him to make sure it gets worked on before the next race and see what he can do. But John Gorlinski, a very talented driver, well deserving of this victory. And it wasn't the connection that got him the lead. It was absolute pit strategy and driving, and his pit crew. Everybody come together with his team, and the best moves today got him this victory.
And this will be Gorlinski's first victory here on this one. Has several runner-up positions. The first Daytona race, John Gorlinski, 33rd position. This is quite the improvement for Gorlinski as he crosses the start-finish line, picks up the checkers. 21st at Las Vegas, then started to pick it up in Bristol, got a third place. Martinsville 24th, Phoenix 2nd, Talladega 2nd, Darlington 13th, Charlotte 24th, Michigan 5th, as John Gorlinski at, I believe, New Hampshire was 5th as well. And Gorlinski will wind up with the race win here tonight at Daytona International Speedway. And again, I'll go ahead and say it. I think with a perfect internet connection, there was nobody beating John Gorlinski here tonight.
Yep, great job. Great race by all these guys. No caution up until about 10 laps to go, and that caution itself was, a warp-related internet-type connection issue. These guys did a great job. A bunch of great racing, great round of pit stops, great strategy, and John Gorlinski coming out on top of this NASCAR-iRacing.com World Championship Series and race here at Daytona. So great job by him. And remember, everybody, if you like what you see, you're welcome, and it's very easy to become a part of this series and this service. Just visit iRacing.com, and you'll see how easy it is to get involved, and we'd love to have you here.
John Gorlinski becomes the 8th winner in 11 different races here on the NASCAR-iRacing.com World Championship Series. We will see you with the NASCAR-iRacing.com World Championship Series coming up in 2 weeks from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will we see race winner number 8, or number 9, I should say? Only way to find out is to be right here. On behalf of all of us, my broadcast partner, Nim Cross, Ian Bushing, Chuck Johnson, PJ Lossie, all the driver, all the people involved here, with Ilka Happela as well, who never talks to us. I always forget to mention Ilka. I'm sorry, Ilka. We got to get you a microphone, buddy. We're got to start paying Ilka the big bucks so he can get a microphone. All the drivers involved in the series, all the officials, everybody at iRacing, and everybody here at PSR TV. On behalf of all of us, I'm Darryl Morley, thanking you so much for tuning in and reminding you, keep it shiny side up and rubber side down, and always, always, always keep that hammer down. We'll see you next time right here on the iRacing TV, PSR TV Joint Broadcasting Network.